Good morning, my dear students. I welcome you to this session of Hadoop. In today's session, we'll be discussing about the HDFS command. So this is the outline. We'll begin with the HDFS commands and we'll see how they work in the cluster. So the Hadoop file system shell can be invoked by Hadoop FS followed by the arguments or the commands. Okay. And all the file system shell commands, they take path URIs as arguments. That is, you must provide some path here as arguments. Now the format for the URI is scheme : /authority / path. Okay. For HDFS, you can mention the scheme as HDFS, and for the local file system, the scheme is file. The scheme and authority are optional. Okay. So if you don't specify and the defaults have been specified in the configuration files, then you need not mention the scheme. Okay. And an HDFS file or directory such as /parent/child can be specified as HDFS : /name node host /parent/child. So you can give the name node host address there and then followed by your path. Okay. And as you know, most of the commands in file system shell, they behave like corresponding Unix commands. So this is a very important slide because this tells you how to actually exactly use your HDFS commands. Remember, for HDFS the scheme is HDFS, right? And for the local file system the scheme is file. That means you can reference both the HDFS path as well as the local file system path using your Hadoop FS command. Now we'll be discussing this in today's session. We'll be viewing the commands to start and stop the distributed file system services, the JPS command, then the list command to list the files in the local or the distributed file system, then to create files and directories. So let's go to our cluster. This is the things that we'll do today. So let's go to Ubuntu. Let's log in as the HD user, the user where Hadoop has been installed, and let's start the terminal. Then to start the services, the distributed file system services, you use this command, start-dfs.sh, where DFS stands for distributed file system. So once we use this command, the distributed file system services name node, data node, and secondary name node would be started. So that would be the first thing that we do here. And to stop these services, we'll use stop-dfs.sh. This we'll use at the end of this video. And to check the Hadoop services status, we can use the Java process status command. Okay. So our services are almost ready. To see the status, we can use the JPS command. So you can see that the secondary name node, the name node, and the data node, they are all running. Let's now switch to the web UI of this cluster. And you need to mention the local host 50072. See the web UI of this cluster. There are the various details about data nodes, name nodes, a snapshot, how this cluster has started. This I again postpone to some subsequent video. Let's go to browse the file system. And then you can put a slash here. You can see that there are currently two files. One is a directory user, that is a default user directory, and one is examples.desktop file. And we discussed in our previous video that below user there is the folder with the name of the user, the current user, that is HD user, and below that is our trash folder, which contains all the files which have been deleted from your cluster. Okay, so that is regarding the user folder. Let us now go to command line and let me create a file for you in the local file system. Look carefully how I'm using these commands. I've created a file A1 Similarly, I'll create another file A2 and store some text in it. And by pressing Ctrl D, I'll save it. So now you can list the files with the ls command. You can see that files A1 and A2 have been created. The contents of A1 and A2 can also be listed using the cat command. So this is like, what we have worked till now, working with the commands in the local file system. Now let's focus on the commands in the distributed file system. For that, you can start the command with Hadoop fs followed by some path argument. So let me list here the files in the distributed file system. This we have already covered. This will list all the files in the root of the distributed file system. So when I run this command, the user directory and the examples.desktop file, which we just saw, would be listed here. You can see the files which are here in our root, examples.desktop and user, they would be listed with this ls command. Now you can specify Hadoop fs command to list the files in the distributed file system as well as in the local file system. So as we discussed here, that to mention to the local file system, the scheme is file, okay, and for HDFS the scheme is HDFS. So let's see how to use this thing. So now I will list two things. I'm using this now, okay, Hadoop fs -ls followed by a slash, then a space, and then file : //. So let's see what it lists. See very carefully. See, first it has listed the two files which are present in the root of your HDFS, right? And then the output of this command, file : followed by 3 slashes. So file : // is for the local file system, and then the next slash tells you to list all the files in the root of the local file system. So these are all the files present in the root of the local file system. Okay. Similarly, you can use this ls command to mention this now. So now what you're saying, list all the files in the root of the distributed file system and in my current home folder of the local file system. Let's see that this command will now display different files. Two files would be the same from the distributed file system. Okay, and then rest are the files in my local file system in my home folder. So this is regarding the how to use the schemes, the HDFS scheme for HDFS and the file for file. So next, let me just transfer these files. I'll transfer two files, A1 and A2, that I just created. So you can see here the two files that I have. Writing ls a star, that would mean list all the files beginning with the letter A. So A1 and A2, I'll transfer these files into the cluster. So we discussed in our previous video, to transfer a file into the cluster, there's a command is the put. Now you can give multiple arguments to it. So I can write something like A1 space A2. And then I can mention the path where to transfer. So I'm suggesting now that to transfer both the files A1 and A2 into the root directory of HDFS. So once done, you will see that these files will appear here. Once I refresh it, we'll see it is still copying, you see. So now both the files are there, A1 and A2. These have been copied. So put command can take multiple arguments. This is what new we learned today. Then what we can do is use the cat command to display these files with the Hadoop fs command. So if I use this Hadoop fs -cat, so I'll display like this. So see carefully what I'm doing. I'm displaying the file A1 from my local file system and my file A2 from the distributed file system. But then the local file system in a Hadoop fs command should be mentioned with the file scheme, right? So I must write something like this. If I don't write, it will give an error. So I'm listing A1 from my local file system and A2 from my distributed file system. So the scheme HDFS is already configured. Okay, so with this it will list both the files. A1 from your local file system, that is hi, how are you, and A2 from your distributed file system. Now I can again, mention an explicit absolute path for A2 also. What I can do is I can use the HDFS scheme, for my name node. I'll mention the name node here, and then the path. So I'm suggesting display the contents of file A1 from my local file system and A2 from my distributed file system. The output would be the same. So that means you see put command takes multiple arguments, but put command is only used to transfer files from your local file system to the distributed file system. Whereas cat command takes multiple arguments which can refer to simultaneously to the local file system and the distributed file system. Okay. Now let us suppose that I want to create a file in my distributed file system. In our local file system we use the cat command, but for the distributed file system we can create a zero length file there. Okay, so we can use something like this: Hadoop fs -touch z, and say let's create a file, say Ajay. So see, I'm not mentioning any path here. So where this file Ajay would be stored, it would be stored or created in the default path of HDFS. That is, it would be created below the folder user HD. So this will create a zero length file. Let's go to our folder to see whether this file has been created. So for this, we need to go to the user folder, and within that the HD user folder, you can see an Ajay file has been created, a 0-byte file. So that is how you can create a zero length file in your cluster using the touch Z command. Let's see what else we need to go through. Cat, yeah, we have done. You can see the syntax for cat. URI is the path, so you can give multiple paths in cat command, which can refer to both the local file system as well as the distributed file system. Let's now see mkdir command, okay, which is used to create a subdirectory in the local or the distributed file system. So let's use the mkdir command now. Do fs -mkdir, and then you can write, say, /user/Amit. Let's create a directory first with this command. So where would this directory Amit be created? Let's go and see. Let's click on user. You can see that this directory Amit has been created here. Okay, so mkdir command can be used to create directories in your cluster as well as in your local file system. So let's now write another command. Say, let me write to create a directory puja in the root of the distributed file system, and another file in my home folder, another directory in my home folder with the name as, say, Kapil. So now with this one command, I'm creating two directories, one in my distributed file system with the name as Puja, and one in my local file system in my home folder. I'm mentioning the complete path for my home. So this will create the directories. Let's go to this, our root. You'll see that the Puja directory will now appear here. You can see the Puja directory here. And if you go to your local file system, okay, and you list, then you can see a Kapil directory has been created. Okay, you can write something like this also. You see, when we list a directory, directory, then directory is not listed, its contents are listed. So maybe I can have a variation like this. Let's see whether this works or not. Yeah. So to list a directory actually with its name, you use the -d switch in ls. Otherwise, if you list ls in the directory name, if there are contents in the directory, those contents are listed. For example, I can show you this maybe the downloads directory. So if I write here ls downloads, it will display what all is present in downloads. You can see there is only one file present in downloads, one doc file. Okay. But if I want to list the downloads directory, then I need to write something like this. It will list the downloads directory. So this is how you can create directories. Now you can create multiple directories. Let's say I use this command. So I'm trying to create a directory A3 which is below directory A2 and which is below directory A1. Normally if you run this command, it would expect that A1 and A2 have already been created and you need to create A3 like we did here. In the user folder, below that we created Amit. Okay. If I use this command, let's see whether it works or not. So it says no such file or directory because it is not able to locate the first directory, that is A1 in this path. So we can see here that in the root there is no such directory A1. There are only two files, A1 and A2. All right. So what we need to do is, say for example, I'll just change the name here because A1 is already there. It may clash with the file name and the directory name, same name. So let's use a different name here. S1, S2 and S3. But even then with this command, this is not going to run because there is no folder S1 in the cluster. Okay. So this is not going to work. So in such cases, if you want to create the parent directory as well with one command, so we can use the -p switch here. So what I'll do here is I'll simply go with -p to indicate that if the parent is not there, create it. So now this path would be created. Okay, now this path would be created, and if I go to my web UI and I just refresh it, I'll see a S1 directory, below it an S2 directory, and below it a S3 directory. So this is how you can work with the HDFS commands. This is just a beginning. So let's have a quick recap. Like we have done these services starting with the start-dfs.sh command. Then we have discussed the JPS command, list command, the touchz command, cat command, mkdir command. Remember, we learned something new today, that we can, with the Hadoop commands, we can refer to both the distributed file system and the local file system. For the distributed file system, the scheme is HDFS. And if the scheme is already mentioned or configured in your configuration files, then there is no need to display it. And for your local file system, the scheme is file. So let's work one more command so that all the things are refreshed. What I'll do is I'll remove one file from here. So say let us remove A2 so that the things are clear to you. Let's remove A2 from here. Okay. So if I do cat A2, then there is sorry, I needed to remove it with the full this thing. I want to remove it from my local file system. So I need to mention the home and DHT user folder here. So with this Hadoop command, I am removing a file from my local file system. The file name is A2. So this will remove the file. Now if I list here, it will say no such file or directory. So now if I list say A1 here, A1 is here, and my A2 file is in A1 and A2, both the files are present in my cluster. You can see here that A1, A2 are both present here. So I'll list the contents of A1 from my local file system with the cat command. Just a review of the cat command. So to mention the local file system, I must give file as the scheme and then the path of the file. So this would be A1 file, location of A1 file. And for my HDFS, I can use the HDFS scheme followed by the name node address. So localhost colon 54310. This we mentioned in our configuration. And below that we have the A2 file, right? Below the root we have the A2 file. So this will list the contents of A1 and A2. So A1 from your local file system and A2 from your distributed file system. So that's all for today's session. And in my next session, I'll continue with the HDFS commands. We'll cover all the HDFS commands and their counterpart Linux commands so that you understand them very nicely and clearly. All you need to do is to work with these commands in the cluster that you've installed on your desktops or your laptop. So keep watching my videos. Thank you very much.